Good morning.
They're always fun. Time to check in with Jill Belland this morning. I know a lot of us have been itching to get out on the golf course, and so Jill is relatively new to golf, right, Jill?
I am very new to golf. The only time I've ever golfed was last year with Lisa Longball, who's joining us again this year. I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to hold a club, a microphone, and an umbrella, Andrew Schultz.
Multitasking, yeah.
We're at the RCGA. We're hoping to take the game outside, but when's the storm blowing in?
You're not worried about it till tomorrow morning for the most part. Going to see some showers late this morning, and then, of course, through the day, but not really the snow until tomorrow.
Well, you know, the hardcore golfers will probably golf in the snow anyway. And we're going to be talking about how to improve your game, how to add distance to your drive. So that means I'll probably be up to about 50 yards by the end of the morning.
You have good form.
Having me. Thank you. Yeah. We're going to head out to our Jill Belland this morning. There may be snow in the forecast, but we are getting ready for golf season, Jill.
It's not too early to get ready for golf, and Lisa Longball is all hooked up. She's the Canadian long drive champion. We're going to be talking about how you can overcome your physical limitations using super cool technology here live on location at the RCGA. She's sweating. It's tough work.
6:55. Thanks for joining us this Wednesday morning. Snow on the way.
Through to, well, starting this evening and through the overnight period. So today it's going to just be wet, you know, and that does not dampen the spirits of those who are real swingers.
Well, it should not scare you away from the golf course, or at least fine-tuning your game, which is what you're working on this morning, Jill?
We sure are. Suze, I know that you're the golfer among us. Andy, I've heard about your swing here.
Yes.
But Suze, have you ever golfed in the snow?
I have never golfed in the snow, no.
Well, today is the day, or maybe tomorrow is the day to be golfing in the snow. And we're hanging out with some hardcore golfers who have golfed in the snow. You've golfed in the snow, Lisa.
I've definitely golfed in the snow, and that's why hitting here at the RCGA is great, because they've got the heated stalls, so up to -15 snowing, you can still work on your swing.
This is what happens when you're a Canadian and a Canadian long drive champion. Rob is a kinesiologist who's joining us here this morning. He specializes in golf. We're hooked up to some technology here. Tell us a little bit about how Lisa's hooked up.
Okay, well, what we have here is, this is a 3D unit we have, and it allows us to measure how efficient a golfer moves their body in terms of the golf swing. So basically what we look at is how fast they can accelerate and decelerate certain parts of the body, which produces power in the golf swing.
Okay. What are some of the common limitations? I mean, Lisa obviously is a champion, but this is something that would be useful for people who are just playing golf less competitively.
Yes. I mean, and the whole purpose, it allows us to find out what the problems are, and because it's in 3D in real time, we can correct a person's problems much faster.
Okay.
So it gives us a really clear indication of what the problem is, and then we can give drills and exercises to overcome it, and we can see changes much, much faster.
Okay. So Lisa did a swing a little bit earlier. We'll get an example of that swing, and then it's broken down into the graph here. And tell us where Lisa's limitations are.
Well, what Lisa needs to work on is getting more engagement from her lower body. So if we look at the graph here, just look at this, we can see that the red lines are lower body, and we can see that the brown is her golf club and the blue is her arm. And you see that this blue graph peaks first. If you look at the peak of the hip is here and the arm is here. I want to see the lower body peak first, followed by the torso, followed by the arm, then the club.
Okay.
So and we see this in most golfers, is that they actually generate with their upper body rather than the lower body.
Okay, so how do I change that?
Well, I'm going to have Lisa do a drill right now, and the best way for any golfer to start is to really feel the ground with their lower body. So what I'm going to have Lisa do is, Lisa, feel that you're actually squeezing your legs, like your quads, squeezing your butt.
I can see the squeeze from here, Lisa. It's looking good.
Okay, and then as you do that, you want to maintain that tension in the lower body, and you should feel your feet are more connected to the ground. Do you feel more connection to the ground? So now try to hit a ball, and just do that simple thing. So the idea is create as much lower tension in your lower body as you can, and maintain your swing.
That looked pretty good. That's it. That's those teeny tiny changes that makes a big difference. Lisa, #2 in the world, that could bring her to #1. And still ahead, Lisa's going to show us how we can add distance to our game. 350 yards, that's it. How many can say that they can hit a drive 350 yards?
I'm guessing not cameraman Rob, and certainly not myself. So focus on the legs. The power comes from the legs. Good pointers.
Have you learned something
I'm
this
working
morning?
on it, working on it.
I've learned a lot about the straight ahead.
Jill Belland is golfing with some superstars this morning. Jill?
At the RCGA Golf Center. It feels like the tropics here. It might be raining, but we're under the heaters. Not too bad. First drive of the morning with Lisa Longball, the Canadian long drive champ. We'll see who can hit the ball further here. And go ahead.
Belland.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, we're smiling here in the rain, even though the weather isn't that great. We're staying warm down here at the RCGA Golf Center. Lisa Longball, the Canadian long drive champ, is going to tell us how to add length to our game that might put me over 100 yards. Lisa, carry you up for the challenge. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Breakfast Television. Boy, is it a beautiful day to be golfing here. At least it's gray and not white. That is the silver lining here. And there's heaters here at the RCGA Golf Center. We're hanging out with Lisa Longball, who's the Canadian long drive champion. How far? I mean, I lost track of it, Lisa. You're unbelievable. I whiffed it earlier, but I have a few issues. Let's talk about adding length to your game. What are some tips that you have for people?
Well, if I could give 3 main tips for adding distance to your game, I'd say number 1, golfers need to make a good shoulder turn. I see so many golfers that think they're making a good shoulder turn, but really they're just lifting their arms. Really, they have to be turning that upper body. My swing thought is to try to get my back to the target. And my swing coach, Bob MacArthur, talks about this being the top half of your body, this being the lower half. You want to wind up with the top. My next big distance tip is going to be when you get to the top of the backswing, so many players start their downswing with their arms.
Yes.
If you start your downswing with your arms, you've lost all the power, coil, and torque you've built up. So you're losing so much distance. You need to start the downswing with the lower body, and that's wind up from the top, and then at the top of the backswing, you need to unwind from the bottom. And that means turning that front hip or turning that front pocket, but it's not a slide or a glide, it's a turn. And again, watch the PGA and LPGA players. Lorena Ochoa's awesome at it. When she gets to the top of the swing, really fires that lower body. And finally, keep swinging through the ball. So many people get excited to hit the ball, they think their job is done at the end, and they just kind of cruise through to the finish. Your club head should be moving fastest after impact. Keep swinging, and that's going to keep you moving forward. It's going to transfer that weight to the front side, and it's going to get your weight over the front side, belt buckle towards the target, and again, finishing balance. Balance will also help you add distance, but also accuracy, which is so key to the game.
Oh my gosh, there's so much to think about. I saw Bob giving you a nod there. He's your coach approved.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing would be equipment. You know, for the viewers out there, if you're hitting a driver in the 300cc range, you're robbing yourself of distance. You know, bump that up, get that 460cc driver. There's square drivers, there's round drivers, adjustable drivers, but most importantly really is the shaft. You want to make sure the shaft matches your club head speed. So go to a club fitter. There's club fitters all over the city. Here at the RCGA, Ted and Dave. I work with Lyle Helland at Simply Golf. And get your shafts fitted, not just for your driver, but irons, and get your putter fitted. Small things that can all really help your game.
Okay, because if you're using the wrong equipment.
You know, you can have a great swing, but if you're using the wrong equipment, that errant shot might not be from a swing fault, it might be from equipment that doesn't fit you.
Well, maybe the whiff on the ball earlier was because it must have been because you're a little slightly taller than me, Lisa.
Oh yes, 5'6 3/4.
Okay,
actually.
then those small things, increments, make a distance. Now I'm going to try a swing.
Loving it, that's for sure. Our Jill Belland has been learning all about the golf game with some experts out at the RCGA golf course this morning.
And observing the master here, Lisa Longball is the Canadian long drive champ. We're going to be speaking with her coach after the break about curing the slice. And I'm going to try and actually hit one. CGA Golf Center. I think I saw some whiteness floating around. Maybe it's just golf balls. It's snow. I know, it's snowing. Have you golfed in the snow ever, Bob?
Oh yeah, a few times.
Okay.
Not fun, but you got to do it sometimes.
Yeah, that's what we do down here, and we're braving the weather. And now we're talking about curing the slice. It is golf season. A lot of people have been hitting the greens. Hopefully it will be greener after the rain. Now, what do I need to know about curing the slice? Common problem.
Well, what most people have to realize, first of all, is why they slice it, which is an open club face. Most people think they slice it because they cut across the ball.
Okay.
That's their description.
Okay.
But the face of the club, we're trying to get it basically at a right angle to the target when it makes contact. Okay. The reason why most people slice it is because the face is open.
Okay.
And then we've got to figure out why the face gets open. So when we were hitting shots, you and I, it's because you weren't holding it good. That's why the face got like that when you struck the ball.
So was grip the first step?
Well, the first step is to get the face straight to begin with, because a lot of people will have the face in an open position in their start position. Yeah. That's the first step. Grip would be second. Takeaway would be third. downswing would be fourth. There's 4 reasons why the face can get like this. We just can't say it's for one reason, unfortunately.
That's the thing. It's a complicated, very involved process, this game of golf. Let's have Lisa demonstrate what this looks like too. Now, Lisa actually hooks, not slices, right?
Yes, she hooks the ball. Well, draws the ball. Now, for a right-handed player, we're trying to get her to move the ball from right to left. That's a curve right to left, which is a draw or a hook. And for most righties, they get it going the other way, left to right.
Well, how did that look to you?
Not bad.
Coach? Not bad?
Pretty good for a girl, like I tell her.
Swings like a girl.
No, she's kind of an anomaly. You know, obviously she's ranked #1 in Canada, #2 in the world, so she does a lot of good things right. I tease her a lot. I try to get her mojo going a little bit here, but she swings very, very well, obviously very strong with a gymnast background.
I'd say so. Swings quite well. Thanks very much, Bob. Thank you, Lisa, for having us here today and for joining us this morning, getting some golf tips. Have a bit of a runny nose, you guys. It's a little chilly out here.
Little chilly, but that was really interesting and some good pointers for all the golfers, guys and girls out there. I know we're looking.
Lisa Longball and our Jill Bellin down at the RCGA.